Profiles in Cinemania, Raul Julia. If you ever happened to find yourself in San Juan in the mid-20th century and you felt like ordering a nice pizza of an evening, your options would be severely limited. In fact, there's only one place you could have gone, if rumors are to be believed. The Cueva del Chicken Inn was the first restaurant to introduce the pizza to Puerto Rico after the owner brought over an Italian chef from New York who could handle this exotic new dish. That would be enough of a claim to fame, you might think, but it must fall to second place, I'm afraid, because the owner of that restaurant was also the father of none other than Raul Julia. Born in 1940, young Raul Julia was a precocious acting talent from a young age, always performing in school plays, and as he was fluent in English, he was able to develop a grounding in Shakespeare early in life. His parents hoped he would attend college and seek a respectable career in the law, but they say once you get the acting bug, it never lets go, and Raul Julia might be a case in point. He had no pretensions of actually making money as an actor when he traveled to New York in 1964, but he had been performing in small theatrical productions and clubs for years at that point, and young Raul thought he would simply support himself with a day job while he pursued his passion for the stage. It was only after seeing performers on Broadway that he realized a career in acting was a genuine possibility, and so he gave up on a promising career as, and I'm not kidding, a pen salesman to seek the limelight first time. Raul Julia always had a striking appearance with a piercing stare. It's hard to imagine him trying to sell you a pen, and harder to imagine not buying one if he did. Nonetheless, he took up acting in earnest, and before long didn't even need to rely on a little parental support here and there. He very quickly got snapped up by the Broadway scene. In 1971, he got a break on TV, appearing in nothing less than Sesame Street as Rafael the Fix-It Man, and a part on the long-running soap opera Love of Life. While we don't know how the Muppets found Julia to work with, we can only wonder whether the sultry Latin charms of Raul Julia caused conniptions for Miss Piggy, but it is a definite possibility, and so we shall therefore record it as fact. During this time, Julia was keeping busy on Broadway picking up a Tony Award nomination while performing in Two Gentlemen of Verona, that's Shakespeare again, you Philistines, with further Shakespeare roles in King Lear and As You Like It. He also appeared on the Bob Newhart Show. As you can probably gather, there was something of a disconnect between the stage presence of Raul Julia, rapidly becoming a powerful Broadway presence, and the TV Raul Julia, who would show up in comedy bits and soapy melodrama from time to time. It's an actor's life, they say. No one knows what they mean, but they do say it. There were a few smaller film roles in the late 70s, but suddenly in the 80s, it appeared that the silver screen was really beckoning. After paying his dues on the boards and in TV, Raul Julia started to appear in a steady stream of movies. There has always been a need in film production for reliable actors who look good on the big screen, can memorize large amounts of script, and hit their marks without complaining, and preferably don't cost too much. Raul Julia hit all of those and then some. All that time, interpreting Shakespeare made him a perfect fit for whatever role he was needed in. He could be a Cockney knife-wielding gangster in Mac the Knife, or a Mexican drug kingpin in Tequila Sunrise with equal ease. He simply seemed right in whatever role he was in. Of course, most filmgoers probably remember Julia best from his two turns as Gomez Addams in the 90s Addams Family movies, where he brought a manic, swashbuckling flair to the role that set the screen alight, and even the likes of Christopher Lloyd and Angelica Houston couldn't act him off the screen. Unfortunately, even as he was filming the sequel to The Addams Family, Julia's health was starting to decline. He underwent surgery for stomach cancer 3 years prior, but the condition was returning, and he was growing weaker. Determined to finish his career with the same gusto that he began it, he asked his kids what they would like to see him in, and went into filming Street Fighter the movie, fully aware that he was performing for an audience of two. The film was a mess of contradictory plotting and stars who could barely string their lines together, but Julia took his role with deadly earnestness. His performance of M. Bison was like something out of a barnstorming epic. He demolished the scenery and stole so much limelight that everyone else had to be content with street fighting in the shade. He was bold, grandiose, and frankly the best thing in the movie by miles, and the singular reason that it's remembered fondly today. All because he knew he had little time left, and he wanted to do something for his kids. That right there says it all about Raul Julia. He may have been an excellent villain, able to turn his sinister appeal to any number of nuanced performances, but in his personal life, he was incredibly generous. His family had always been involved in charity work, and he spent his life as a humanitarian, working to improve the lives of those less fortunate. He made monthly donations to a food bank and held charity galas as part of extensive work for the Hunger Project. He served as chairman of the Joseph Papp Celebrity Coalition for Racial Harmony. He was even asked to oversee elections in El Salvador in 1994, to name just a few of his good deeds. The National Endowment for the Hispanic Arts offers an annual Raul Julia Award for Excellence in his honor. Many people make the ironic comment that the Addams family demonstrates what is actually an ideal picture of a healthy and committed family unit, despite all the gothic trimmings and monstrous goings-on. Here at the Cinemania Society, we say without hesitation that Raul Julia was and is an example of the best of what it means to be a good human being. We will always have the movies and performances, but we have lost a genuinely decent man who remains an inspiration. That is a true legacy of Raul Julia. Profiles in Cinemania is a production of the Cinemania Society. This episode was written and performed by Andy Slack, production by Ethan Ireland. Music by Meteor at meteormusic.bandcamp.com. Incidental sound courtesy of Epidemic Sound.